Did Trump just drop truth bombs all over Europe? Did MAGA just invade Versailles like it's January 6th or January 6th? On the surface, getting Europe to pay 15% tariffs on all of its exports and the US paying 0% looks like a Michael Jordan slam dunk in your face. But is it what it seems? I don't think so. The best part of the deal for everybody is it ends the trade war. Even a bad certainty is better than ambiguity. You'd rather wake up each day going, you know what, I'm going to take my beating every morning, 10 a.m., and then plan my day around it. Or you could wake up every morning going, hey, am I going to be thrown off a roof or am I going to get a happy ending? You might have more upside, but you can't plan for it. And this you can plan for. The other thing being celebrated is this $750 billion that's coming in from tariffs. On one hand, America needs every penny because the big, beautiful bill blew a giant deficit hole in our budget. Who is gonna pay? I can tell you one thing for sure, Louis Vuitton has been dancing in the streets. Any luxury good manufacturer is thrilled about this because they have such fat margins. They can pass all of these extra costs on to their wealthy customers. And other manufacturers that have differentiated goods in maybe not so competitive categories are also going to be able to pass on their extra costs. The only ones that can't pass it along are selling commodities like mid-tier sedans. You're going to pick the Fiat or Ford Focus. On the margins, it's probably the same. So Fiat is going to have to eat that extra cost to make the sale. And we know there's going to be pain because Republican Josh Hawley just proposed a $600 per person tariff rebate. Just don't call it reparations. Now, there are two very suspicious announcements in this deal. The first is $750 billion in purchases of American energy, oil and gas, or $250 billion per year. In all of 2024, Europe bought between $16 and $19 billion. This year might be double that. Our ability to generate it, ship it, and for Europe to pay already maxed out. Getting to $250 billion will require the return of the Messiah. The second suspicious announcement is that Europe is going to make $600 billion in other investments in the United States. What that means, nobody knows. No timelines were announced, no details, nothing. And I understand details are still being worked out, but this is suspiciously like the announcements by Saudi Arabia, Japan, UAE, Narnia. They all go out there with Trump and go, listen, we are going to invest $100 billion, $200. You know what? I like the way you look. $5 trillion. We're just going to put it in. They're just words, and words are free. Unless there are written specifics, we don't know if any of this is real. Somehow, all of these countries cracked the super secret code to our stoic, mysterious leader and his heart and toilets of gold. Turns out he likes big bucks and he cannot lie. Ooh, well, he can lie. They just know he wants these big numbers for the announcements and they give him exactly what he wants. Whether any of this pans out or whether there's any penalties for them not delivering, who knows? I don't think there are. Now, the most interesting part of the deal is Europe committed to buying lots of weapons from the US. This addresses one of the big gripes Trump's had with NATO, which is they don't pay their fair share. Even war needs its own Bernie Sanders. We need the millionaires and the Europeans to pay their fair share of bombs. The most interesting part of this deal is it binds Europe and the US military-industrial complex in the only way that America truly understands: money. So now European defense will be a top priority. And some people are suspecting this was part of Europe's strategy, that they wanted to create this binding responsibility to defend Europe. I'm more on the side of this is more expedient and convenient for them than anything else, but it also constrains their ability to become self-reliant and build their own defense industry. But that's the price you have to pay, and the US gave them what they needed in the short term. Is this enough to spur manufacturing in the US? 15% is too low for thousands of factories to start popping up all over the country. You need other policies, tax abatements, subsidies, regulations. We might even lose some of the Mercedes and BMW factories we have here because the new tariff is lower than the old luxury car tariff. So depending on what happens with the dollar and other incentives and regulations, it may be cheaper for Europe to take their manufacturing back and then export those cars back to the US. Ultimately, the most important part of this deal is it's short-sighted. It's a huge waste of American leverage. We have all of this power and we used it to squeeze a few extra shekels out of Europe. It doesn't make much sense. We've treated Europe exactly like we treat China, as an adversary and as a trading partner. In the short term, we will get concessions, but in the long term, they have every incentive to build their trade routes around us, not with us. Europe went from being an ally to being an ex-girlfriend with whom we share custody of a cat. Maybe nothing consequential actually happens from all this. Maybe this just ends up as one big, fat tax hike on Americans. Don't forget to follow and sign up for the newsletter at Trendaddy.com. You get all the deep dives, all the charts, all the love and respect that you deserve.